This piece is called Talk Dirty to Me. Talk dirty to me. Tell me that the revolution will come one day. You'll see, and we'll stand among the masses, holding hands, sharing kisses. With the downfall of the prisons, we will all be free. Tell me that the revolution will be televised, but it won't matter because institutions will be occupied and our communities will no longer struggle to survive. Talk dirty to me. Tell me that gender pronouns don't matter anymore, that it's irrelevant which one of us is getting on all fours because we'll consensually fuck one another in all those ways we've each asked for. That together we'll create many and not just one safe word. Yeah. Tell me it's okay to talk about sex on a first date without you thinking that you never introduced me to your mom because I have no shame, or that your mother will care about what I wear when we break bread and share our life stories. And I listen to tales about your childhood and say that from my childhood came PTSD, and your mom doesn't judge or pity, doesn't tell you could do better than me. Talk dirty to me. Tell me it's okay to be scared. Tell me it's okay to be scarred because you see how beautiful real lives are, and that my life fascinates you in a non-fetishizing way to the point where you want to share yours with me too. Talk dirty to me. Tell me I would make a great parent. That despite my fears, my trauma would not prevent me from loving them in a way that I wish everyone could feel cared for and supported. That the kid would be fierce and fearless because there would be no such thing as cops there to police them. There would be no arms to access the way to retaliate and protest. Talk dirty to me. Tell me that our porch swing will be hand-carved with the imprint of our hometowns, and we will have traded our skills with our neighbor for it. Instead of the worthless dollar bills after we slaved away for them. The corporations have stopped running sweatshops so our families can quit their crappy jobs and just stop. Stop struggling from paycheck to paycheck. Stop their living in survival so that they can start to expect that other people should care about them. Talk dirty to me. Tell me that Laila Nur will make it big. That her sound will be the people's music, and they'll talk about her lyrics in popular education context. That every one of us will be valued for our knowledge just as much as for our lived experiences. Prophesied that black and brown folk will no longer need organized resistance because we will be free of racist governments. We will not be oppressed by fascist mindsets, and white folk will stop claiming to know everything because we've met our quota of one black friend. Talk dirty to me. Tell me that radical love is in my future. Tell me da ne postoji ništa osim sutrašnji dan. I samo ti I ja. Kroz ove ratove do beskrajnog mira. Kroz viktorije našeg ujedinjenog naroda postoji samo revolucija. I ti I ja. Playing is her original work. I mean, I met my quota of one black friend. How do you think? Pretty much. I'm warning you as if you and I had lost a child together. And no amount of talking will ever make it any better because we don't have another context in which to love one another. So we fight and blame each other, hoping that this tightness in our chests will fade, making us realize that this was all one big mistake. So we spend our days in tears, barely able to recognize anything else in ourselves besides fear as it sits there greedily feeding on our losses, as it forces the idea that this life is not ours inside us and we never even deserve to take part in revolutionizing our existence. We never deserved anything better than what we got, and we accepted without resistance. Fuck. I miss you, Bosnia. My body's so tired of living in survival. And I really don't think I can revive this heart and each day to wake up and wish that it would just end at the start because I'm being forced to use words that are foreign in my mouth. This borrowed oppressive language to express my doubts about running this hamster wheel every day into the night. About living in the context built against the black and the brown in which my skin color defines what our relationships are about. In which beautiful dreams are a rarity, and my days are filled with anxiety, in which my privilege erases my ethnic visibility, my nationality. My environment erases the most important parts of me. matching sets of legs and arms. Because you imagine it is not being able to reach the remote, when in fact it feels like your mind and nerve endings are reaching for a lifeline that you're only pretending exists. So you tell yourself it's real, even though there's no evidence of that being the truth, because you don't know how else to survive. And resist the urge to die, and sometimes you're not sure you even want to without the faces of those who make you feel alive. So you force yourself to do something. Do anything. Even though there's no one there for you to make proud, there's no one there that understands you when you're voicing your nightmares out loud, when you duck at the sound of the fireworks or a backfired car, when you're sweating bullets in large crowds because the number of quick exits significantly declines as each member of the entourage continues to arrive. I can't explain to you what it means to lose your hometown, except to say that you can't return to a place that doesn't exist, as if you're left on an entirely different planet when suddenly the term resident alien starts to make a whole lot more sense. Because you're feeling like a different species in this place filled with unknown words and accents, filled with strange people who smile at you for no reason, which is clearly all the more motivation for you not to trust them. They're all asking you what church you go to, and you're confused because the pamphlet said there was separation of church and state. And yet again, maybe there's something you misinterpreted. Or maybe there's really nothing to get. Maybe they really do only care about their own mouths getting fed. And the pity in their eyes is real because you poor little refugee should have known that with so many infidels in your country, the devil would do his deed. And yet it's the land of the free you have to thank for saving you from ungodly treachery. Hold up. What are you saying? And what I hear in return is, well, if you don't like it, then go back to your country. Well, maybe I would if my attempt to put myself 6 feet deep wasn't a crime or warranted me to plead insanity, because my country is dead. My city is under an internal sleep spell, and I fantasize about it as if one day we'll meet in a new place where I won't unexpectedly have to leave, and it will be there for me. Through the familiar city streets where I'll feel as if I'd always known each other. But this feeling is only temporary because the ghosts of the people I so desperately wanted to save are always with me. And I can't explain what it's like to have no closure with the dead except to say that I feel so guilty and yet so lucky. How did I get to live long enough to pretend that everything will be fine? That there isn't a raging war constantly being battled in my mind? This is what it means to lose your hometown. Woo! Fix me. Because if I murdered someone in front of your face, I'm pretty sure you'd react the same way. And if I shot you in the back, without a doubt, you'd live for the rest of your life fearing another attack. So take a moment and recognize that this is actually a very real way to react. Stop telling me I suffer from mental illness, when my reactions were created out of experiences designed by self-appointed fascist white men who gave themselves the privilege of deciding who can be dispensed. If you were in my shoes, you'd want revenge, but instead everyone would tell you that you need meds. As if your brain is something to be upset over. As if you'd chosen to be depressed. And just to be clear, no, I don't want to forget what's happened to me. Because to do that would be blatant self-disrespect. It would be a giant fuck you to my loved ones who ended up dead, and I choose to not let go of them. I won't deny myself the dignity of uplifting my experience just because it makes you uncomfortable and you want me to let go of it. No amount of drugs will wrongfully redirect my anger because you perceive me as dangerous, as a hellraiser, because you can't understand us. Because we don't function well in your institutions, and we speak our minds when we're calling out bullshit and we're dropping out, but we're not bowing down. So what will you do when there's no suckers left around to protect you from us crazies? When you have to come face to face with me and bear witness to my humanity, bear witness to my brothers and sisters that you branded with insanity, go ahead, tell them. It's all in their head. Tell them how they can't possibly know their own bodies and minds better than a trained, paid professional can. Tell them how it's understandable that they can't get out of bed, but they need to see you on a bi-weekly basis despite the lack of cash to keep their mouths fed. And don't forget to mention how much you pity them. And that documenting their diagnoses is the only way that insurance companies will subsidize what you keep referring to as a human rights necessity. Is it just me, or does it seem like y'all can't find a way to agree on the extent to which a person's life should be treated as a subsidy. Don't forget that you will never share personal information about yourself, because your profession has taught you that you're there just to help. As if you were a spoon to scoop food. As if you were a broom made to clean a dirty room. As if you yourself are an object. Fuck that. Feel free to tell me what's on your mind, and don't worry, I won't charge you for my time. I just think it's a human thing to do. Because I think that none of us should be shamed because we've all made mistakes, and it seems like maybe you have some shit to say too, so let's commune in a way that doesn't leave any of us out. Let's feel free to express ourselves without imposed judgment or doubt about whether it's the right way to be in the world. Because we're not here to scold each other, but to learn to love, dispute, and still support one another. No one will know we will not all kumbaya and we will not all agree. But that's not the point of us all being on the same level, because none of us will ever see our liberation until all of us are free. So let's stop pretending like a few of us are crazy and acknowledge that at some point when exceptions to the rule start to exceed the threshold of the majority, words like mental illness, nuts, crazy, are just more useless, prejudicial words in our vocabulary. So many people say, get me, take me, do whatever, but don't do it to my kids. And so I think of Palestine as like that as a parent. And so this piece is about that. Bomb me. That's right. With your filthy bloodstained hands, I said bomb me. Bomb me like we don't share the same night sky and stars. Bomb me because you're too afraid of this look in my eyes. The look that you forced in by keeping me occupied. Bomb me. And tell me the difference between you doing it in the name of Hamas and me saying I'll throw it back in the name of Allah. It's irrelevant because you believe that your subsidized military is mightier than we are, so just bomb me. Bomb me because living under imperialism with the knowledge that you and I can never be friends means that you can cut my wrists with your self-righteousness. Because you have no respect for anyone else, so bomb me like there's nothing beautiful left in me. Like my children aren't worth as much as yours. Like we don't believe in peace even when we're forced to throw stones because we have no way out. No way out of these checkpoints. No way out of the shaming of our brown skins by tearing through our blood, guts, and bones and the demeaning of our souls. I said, bomb me. Do it until your heart's content. Tear me to pieces until you can't anymore. Bomb me and don't you even repent. Bomb me, I give you permission. Only if you promise to never do it again. Yeah, I know. Cops are working class. In the sense that they're working to classify who needs to be feared and as a result rightfully harassed. In that way that reinforces economic classes so as to divide us by races, so as to use race to relate the lawful segregation in systemically organized spaces. The cops are here to serve and protect. It's not their fault we made assumptions about who shouldn't be rejected from protection of white wealth. See, we made assumptions about who gets respect because we just seem to forget about the conditional nature of laws in this country of ours. Whoa, my bad. This colonized country of theirs, where we've occupied already inhabited land, where we learned how to erase the people in front of our own eyes, where we learned that reservations are spaces our government was so nice to provide. Because at least we've stopped wrongfully killing and beating the shit out of them. Well, at least those are the lies we like to tell ourselves, because policing is honorable and it's chivalrous and it's there to protect us from one another. Because if we convene in masses, they may just be outnumbered. And suddenly the weapons that were used to break bones will do little to protect these clones. You see, the goal of the uniform is to displace blame from all of them. Because united they stand violently cupping our hands to the Constitution, which wasn't written for you or me. So raise up. Demand to be seen. Tell them we demand to be free. And we'll fight until the names of those brutalized are redeemed. We'll resist until we can live in peace. Otherwise, we'll keep dying. without ever resting in peace.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is to Laila as usual. It's called a Homo-tastic Queen. And it's all for all of you homos and homo lovers and people who fangirl over homos in private. I don't judge you. Yes, I do. Okay. A homo-tastic queen, an opportunity, no, not to drop some panties or boxers, as the case may be, but actualize what it means to have kin full of beauty and rage and quirky mannerisms by which we engage the world that attempts to define what it means to have been born to deviancy. This is for y'all because, as my friend once said after watching Brokeback Mountain, I'm so sick of stories of queers in the closet or ending up dead, right? Everyone is so quick to tell you whether they approve of your gayness. Guess what? We don't need your permission to exist because your claims derive on oppressive ways of conception which tell us that we're depraved. Don't want your permission to incite resistance, to raise queer-parented children brought up to rebel and resist on peace. We need not be conceived of as exceptional cases just because you make yourself central to defining everyone else. We need no comparison group. This is not a clinical trial. Give us non-paternal solidarity. Don't tokenize us for your diverse quota community. Be clear, this is not us versus them. But know that each time we are asked to regurgitate justification of existence as if it were a crime, you make each one of us attempt conviction of dignity as if to legitimize what it means to be alive. So I digress from providing context back to our queens, which sometimes are kings. I'm that girl that squeals when I see you out doing your thing. I see your Tegan and Sarah haircut. Smoking your clothes down to the butt, your shades of soft skin so deep they penetrate the racial divides of our history. To make our freedom colors rainbow striped. Giving young dykes a visual representation of what it means to be us and come to an understanding of what it means to have internalized ideas about what we can be. I see your radical movements which demand for us to challenge ourselves and reclaim our own everything. I see your gender fucking and raised empowered fists. I see you challenging your families in this world that attempts to fit you into what it means to be a lesbian. Using phallocentric modification of an identifier perverted for the purpose of male masturbation. Get the fuck out of here. We're dykes. We're boys with an eye. Yes, we're hella queer. Yes, we live in the South. Yes, we come from small towns. Yes, we're here. Yes, we're now. I see you strutting down the street. Yeah, you homo-tastic queer.